All right, welcome to Raw and Real Heart-to-Heart Conversations. My name is Marjorie Chapman, and I am head coach of Big Bold Love. And I am here with my dear friend, Dawn, who we've been having conversations every week, and since the pandemic started, and they're just so juicy, we decided they needed to be shared so that other people could get some juice from what we talk about. And there's never a script. There's always wonder what we're going to talk about today. So
Yep.
Here we are. And today, my big worry coming into recording this was I've talked to Dawn like 3 times this week. Like, what else could we possibly have to talk about? And then I was like, okay, we can always find something.
Oh my goodness.
So, so how are you today?
Yeah. So if you notice, I'm in a different venue, a different location. I am actually curled up in my bed. I am. And what is currently happening is, get everybody caught up. So the home that I currently live in that I share with my former boyfriend, we are discovering what's next. So he'll be moving, and I have one of our mutual friends. She came over for a visit a couple of weeks back to see if we would be roommates, if we'd be compatible. And so what she suggested was, she's unsure and she doesn't have to move. She wants to move, right? Like she wants a new energy. And so she said, let's do this. Let's do a trial run. Let's spend a couple days together and see how we are, because we both do work from home, and and we'll get to know each other in the space. Sounds logical. And so, of course, the bedroom is where my former boyfriend stays, and so he was kind enough and he cleaned everything up, and we changed the sheets and everything, and he was confronted by it because he was like, "Wow, I'm kind of kicked out of my own house for a couple of days." He's like, and so he's going to go stay at his girlfriend. I mean, he normally does that anyway. He's going to, go stay with his new girlfriend. And I was not present really to the impact, because to me, it was like, you're not here anyway. You stay with your girlfriend anyway. And, he was like, yeah, but, this is where my stuff is. So for him, this is his home. This is where his primary stuff is. And, having his office and, everything here, but to kind of literally ask him to leave for 2 days, it just was like confronting for him. And I got the impact of that. It was like, oh, I got it. And thank you for being, he cleaned and he was really gracious about it. And I really, thanked him for being gracious about it and doing whatever it is he needed to do to, make the space to, create a new environment for me, and see what's possible in that space. So, so she got here this morning and she's in the office directly. We share a wall, and I remembered now why, because, Josh and I used to have our offices wall to wall. Right. And then this side of the house, right, it was the music room was over here. Right. And I just totally remembered exactly why we did that, why we switched it, because I can hear pretty much everything through the wall. So I've had my headphones on all day. Right. And I was like, well, obviously if I can hear her, then she can hear me, and she's on a Zoom call. And so I said, let me just go to the other side of the house and come to the bedroom and be comfy. And what's there for me to really say is that, like, this is weird. Like, this is weird. And it took something for me to be with that. This is the next chapter starting, whatever this is going to look like. And I don't know if we're going to. And, so yeah, I really had to be in communication. I called our dear friend, Ashley Bland, and I got rid of a lot of stuff and, really just got in communication. Like, that was huge, to not hold it in and to actually say what's there for me and get it all out and not have it just running in my head.
Yeah.
That made a huge difference. And even this call, like we always do, it's, it makes a difference to be in communication about whatever crazy thoughts are there and not have them. I keep finding myself wanting to do this Pollyanna thing and be like, oh, but it'll be okay. And this is new and it's all right. And, don't be upset and just keep trying to fix it versus being with what's actually there to move through it versus over it, around it.
Which
Yeah.
you never actually can do. It's like
No,
this
'cause it's
illusion
still right
that,
there.
right. It's an illusion that you can go over it, around it, under it, next to it, right? Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, just keep trying to put some sort of Pollyanna, it'll be okay, get out of it, smile through it.
And it will be okay. It's just telling yourself that isn't, doesn't do anything. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's not like I want to wallow. I mean, it's not
Yeah.
about wallowing in the negative
It's about
or anything.
feeling it.
Yeah. Actually
Yeah.
having the experience.
And with each feel, I say, with each session of feels, you're that much closer to closure. You're that much closer to, but you, like you said, you got to go through. And good for you for being in communication about it. Good for you for not pushing it down. Like, it's times like this that I think a lot of us are like, oh, well, I can't be in communication, right? Like, that's when we get really weird in our head about being in communication. Celebrations, sure, no problem. We're in communication, but right, but
Complaining, right?
complaining, yeah,
call somebody to complain.
Yeah, why is it okay to complain but not to grieve with somebody else, right? Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, we have so much judgment, don't we? Like, we should be over it by now, or never thought about that, but yeah. Like,
Or
why
like, I
can
don't
we
want to
complain?
bother anybody.
Why can we complain about the same damn thing over and over and over for years on end, but like grieving has a time limit on it? Like, that's just weird.
Yeah, and like what I'm present to is grieving. You said grieving and I went, oh. And certainly, I mean, I can be with it. There's some residue of the relationship and getting present to, and I'm talking this through. I'm one of those people that, gets something from actually talking it out into the world.
That's why we talk every week.
I
Because
know,
both
right?
of us are like that.
Yep.
Yeah. I still remember when I shared that with you, however many years ago, that you're probably just a verbal processor and you need to hear yourself say it. And like, it was like, in the cartoons, like I think I saw the light bulb go on over your head.
Yeah, I mean, it validated me. It gave me such permission, and it really freed me up because I had it that there was something wrong with me.
Yeah.
Why do I need to talk these things through?
I should be able to figure it out myself.
Yeah, and like, I should have the answers,
And
I do.
When you speak it out loud, exactly. When you speak it out loud, you do. It's just realizing you have to speak it out loud.
Yep.
Yeah.
I got to get there. I got to let myself get there. So there's actually there's a grieving of the life that I thought I wanted.
Yes.
I thought it was going to look a certain way. I wouldn't have to move again, or if I did, I would have a partner, and like it would be, and if I did move again, it would be like powerfully my choice. Right. Like, ooh, I want to go here. Like, look, there's this, right?
You mean like us?
Yes.
And so then here I am showing up with this move that's totally by choice, which may just add to the confrontation, right? Thank you, universe.
No kidding. Yeah, like you've got a vision in your head, you've got an experience to live into, and it's a matter of logistics at this point.
Yeah.
For you, it's just logistics.
Actually having an offer be accepted. But we'll talk about me because there's now 2 houses that are viable candidates, and I was like, wait a minute.
Oh my gosh.
So yeah, I don't want to derail us. I want to make sure.
Yeah, we'll
you get to
definitely come
say-
back to that. I mean,
Yes.
you know, yeah, oh, yeah, I want to know about that. And you know, that's how it's gone in my life is like, it's either, you know, like moving here. So I'm getting present to the experience of when I chose to move here. And it was a hot mess. I mean, I was traveling at the time for work, and I had no time to actually get things packed properly. I moved in here like on a wing and a prayer, really on a wing and a prayer. And I mean, stuffing garbage bags because I ran out of boxes and didn't, I mean, it was like, and I just kind of dumped everything and then sorted it out later because here's where I wanted to be.
Yeah.
So nothing else mattered. I wanted to be here in Charlotte. I wanted to be in this house. I wanted to be with this man. And my life just shot out of a cannon, you know, mess and all. And man, I was happy as hell. I was ecstatic because the possibility that I was living into was this amazing new life.
Yeah.
Right. And so creating powerfully that I don't know what my new life looks like. So there isn't that like fervor, right? That I like I had like, oh, let me get out of here, you know, because I have this new life to live into. And I'm what if it's better? Right? And what if it's better? And not what, because that's what's right there is what do I need to do? No. Who do I need to be?
Yeah.
To allow that to show up. A life that I can't even begin to imagine.
Yeah.
So who I need to be. And what are you hearing?
I'm hearing adventurous.
Ooh.
Maybe curious.
Ooh. Adventurous.
Like
curious.
wonderful, like full of wonder. You know, you're wonderful. Anyway, so why not be, you know, wonderful?
And delighted and surprised.
Yes. Ooh, yeah. I like that. Yeah. Like that kid in the backyard lifting stones. Any bugs under here? You know, ooh, look, this one's got roly-polies. Ooh, this one's got worms, right? Like,
oh, yeah.
Where are some more
like,
rocks?
what's over there? Like, oh, yeah. And like continue to discover and like, yeah, like the discovery and a childlike adventure, wonder. Yeah.
And to me, that's who you are. You know, be like your fairies.
Oh, yeah. Fairies are always exploring.
Right.
Where's the next cool space and what's under this leaf? And, you know, yeah. And this is all simply so amazed at how I can just cry and just let it be.
Right.
I am so used to resisting crying and being angry at myself when I cry and, you know, taking on that very male headspace, you know, of like, not that it's not okay, but there's nothing happening to me right now. I mean, there's not like a reason, like, I'll give you a reason to cry. Right. Did you ever hear that when you were a kid too?
Luckily not. But I think from my father, I probably got that communication, you know, non-verbally.
Verbally somehow. Yeah.
But my mother was always, you know, she's tender-hearted also. And so, you know, she'd cry at movies and things and we'd read books together and we'd cry together. And so there was always a space for me with her. So I've never, I don't think I've had as much stuff around crying as a lot of women do, for which I'm grateful. You know, the other day I was driving Isabella yesterday. I was driving her to school, and I don't even know what the topic was, but all of a sudden I just got choked up, and I was surprised. And, we just had this sensitive moment together, the two of us, and I just, let the tears flow. And as my coach says all the time, like, it's just water falling out of your face.
Right?
Right? We have all kinds of meaning about it, but it's just water falling out of your face.
Yep.
And somewhere, I don't even know if this is true, but somewhere I read, and for me, it's a truth that I hold on to, that that crying releases toxins that are not otherwise released from your body. And I'm like, okay, even if it's, emotional toxins, right? It's still releasing something. So,
right.
I'm like, yep. And so to me, I use that as even more permission to just let, if the urge is there. And I also, I use crying as a gauge too, right? Like, if I am, I use it as a gauge that there is some emotion there, and just to release. So I've created a lot of positive interpretations around it. So.
Yeah, I'm, it's so interesting. Before it was like, I hate to cry because, I get all red and blotchy and my nose gets all stuffed up and I get all miserable. And I noticed that only shows up when I'm resisting the tears.
Right.
When I'm trying to hold them back, when you're watching a movie and you're like, of course all my blood vessels are going to get all swollen and like, right. And it's like, oh, I don't want to ruin my makeup, look bad and all that. But I mean, like, even to look at myself now in the camera is like, I'm a little puffy. I mean, there's not, but it's like, there it is. And yeah.
That's what Isabel said to me yesterday. Aren't you glad you don't usually wear makeup? And I said, yep, I cry a lot. So that's actually one reason I don't wear makeup.
There you go. I got so moved the other day too. I mean, speaking of crying and being randomly moved by things, Josh's daughter is working with us, catering and serving and things like that.
Oh, cool.
And it's her second job like ever. She's 16 and, I know what a badass she is, right? But, that I'm biased. Well, she worked a couple of events over the weekend, and we had our manager meeting on Monday, and the team was just raving about her. And I didn't ask. I mean, I didn't, they were just like, Haley was great. We need her to work on this event and that event and this event. And I'm like, guys, she's only 16. They're like, oh my God, no way. And so I had to let Haley know, like, all the great feedback and celebrate. And I sent her a further message, like, so honored by who she is. Like, that's just her. It doesn't even occur to her that it's like praise in any way, because it's just who she is. And I got so moved by witnessing this young woman and what she's creating in the world and what she will create in the world out of who she is, not what she does. But it's natural for her to, to be as awesome as she was. Yes, she did things. Yeah. But it's who she be.
Yeah. She could do the same things with a scowl on her face and, a grumpy attitude. And I'm sure it wouldn't have gone the same way. Yeah, exactly.
Nope. So, and she's a graduate of Landmark Forum as well. She took the Landmark Forum for teens. So, yeah, I just got really moved by who she was. And I was like, wow, where all these tears come from? This is just not, and like you said, it's almost like a washing away. There's like a releasing of like all of the years that I have hid and tried to protect my heart. And I am tenderhearted and I am tough. Like, it's an and.
Yes.
There's an and conversation instead of like, I've got to protect this tender heart by being tough.
And I wonder if those of us who are tenderhearted all are and tough, because we have had Like it has taken something to remain tender-hearted,
Yeah.
you know, like there's a certain degree of toughness that's required to not become tough, right? To not become hard, you know.
Yeah.
I have a client right now who's she's had months and months of just going through stuff, and she's so tenderhearted, and she just gets so mad. And she's much younger than you and I are. I think she's in her early to mid 30s, and she just, in the time that I've been working with her, when I first started working with her, I could almost not listen to her because every other thing that came out of her mouth was, "I'm sorry."
Mm.
She was just so apologetic. And I remember there was one conversation where she kept apologizing. And I finally told her, "Hey, I'm going to charge you." I forget what I charged her. $10 for every apology. And I mean, I didn't actually charge her, right? But she was like, "What?" It interrupted the apology train, right? And at the end of the conversation, I said, "I think you probably owe me at least $100." And then she sent me this meme that was talking about how when you apologize, you leave stuff over there for the other person. And if you thank them instead, that you actually, like, if I apologize to you, "Dawn, I'm so sorry that I'm late," you then have to respond, maybe not authentically, right? It may not be okay, but because I'm apologizing, like there's a pull to take care of the person who's apologizing, right? It's okay, right? Even if it's not okay, or, right? So this meme was talking, it had some examples, right? That to instead thank the person. So, "Dawn, thank you so much for waiting for me." Lands so differently, right? And so,
wow.
I still remember the transition after that. She apologized, and then she's like, "No, I'm not sorry. I take it back." And there was just such power and, owning herself, and, and so I'm so glad to have been working. I think we've been working together a year and a half, since before the pandemic, and so definitely a year and a half, since it's already been more than a year of the pandemic. But, to be able to be by her side in her tenderheartedness and support her in being strong, but not hard. And that's who I want to be. It's like, how do I find those young women, in their 20s and 30s, who are just really getting their feet under them, so that I can be that hug when they need it, whether it's verbal or real, but I can be the woman, the I want to say wise old woman, right? But, I can be the mentor and say, "Honey, it's okay to be tenderhearted. Like, listen, look how, how in all these different ways, this is how your tenderheartedness shows up. And that's why, you are an amazing artist," or, like, it's actually a gift. It's not a curse. And here are some practices so that it doesn't take you out.
Yeah.
oh, and how I wish I had had somebody to do that for me, and so,
Yo,
yeah.
for sure. Yeah. My mom would say to me, because I mean, I would come home crying so often. And my mom would say to me, you got to stop loving so much.
Mm,
You just wear your heart on your sleeve. It's an invitation for people to hurt you. And I remember turning to her, and geez, I must have been 13 or 14 years old. And I remember clearly turning to her, Mom, you know what? It's worth it.
oh, good for you, especially at that age. Wow, that's so great.
It's worth it.
It is, isn't it?
Loving people, period, is worth it. And them having the opportunity to be loved by me. Not like me, the entity, but like the generosity and grace and compassion that I bring in my listening of people.
Yeah.
It's worth it.
Yeah.
And my heart is a muscle and it's meant to be flexible.
Mm-hmm.
And it can grow stronger, but it doesn't mean that it's hard. Muscles aren't hard. And
No, they can
I
be
think I
tough when they
remember-
need to be, and they can be soft when they need to be, right? Yeah.
Yep. And I think, look, I'm not into fitness in any way. Let me just preface by saying that. But I remember somebody who's very into fitness saying that your muscles, in order for them to grow, you actually need to work them out to the breaking point. Like if you're, lifting or something, right? And then like it's just that last one that you think you can't do one more, you've got to actually like let it, really hurt, and then it can expand. Then it gets stronger, then it, builds. And I'm like, that is just carried so much, to have that be right there. It's like, okay. And, so here I am in my 50s and, yeah, she's gotten a good workout. It's a good workout.
The same is true of your brain. Ooh, you make me car sick.
Sorry.
It's okay. It's not the same tearing, but, it's like new habits are formed when the new neural pathways are formed. So you've got to break the old one, so to speak, so that you can, use the new one. It takes, I was listening to a podcast yesterday on my drive, and, she was talking about how we as humans were wired for avoiding. We're wired for avoiding. And I never really thought about it, but, you and I have talked a lot about, that our brains are really, haven't changed that much since hunter and gatherer time. And so, the fight or flight and all of that, the fear that comes about it, it's still from a survival mechanism, even though there isn't actually some wild animal that's about to, eat us.
Right.
But so she was talking about, avoidance, right? Like, oh, I ate those berries and they made my stomach hurt. So I'm going to avoid them.
Avoid those.
And even, right, like my tribe sent me to get water and I didn't come back with any, and now they're mad at me. So I need to avoid that mistake, right? So that I can remain in the protection of the tribe. And that we receive dopamine. So we get rewarded when we avoid. And I never knew that part. And so like brain chemistry wise, we get rewarded for avoiding. So that's why, it actually kind of feels good when we say, you know what, I'm kind of tired. I'm not going to go to the gym today. I'll just go tomorrow. But that the way to create new habits is to cut the avoidance, right? To notice when the avoidance is trying to run the show and say, nope,
Yeah.
I actually, stay in the future that you've created, that whatever it is, like going to the gym, is going to provide. And so I thought that was really interesting. I'm so, if I could do it all over again, maybe I would have a neuroscience degree or something. But, I'm so grateful for, like the doctor whose podcast I was listening to, and everything else. Like, it's all so readily available. And the nerd in me just absolutely loves linking the alternative world that I more and more am stepping into with the very logical, very scientific world that I was raised in. It's like, it's not, either or. It is both and.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I mean, back in those hunter-gatherer days, right? Science was magic.
Yeah.
It was magic. Lighting a fire was magic.
That's true.
Nope. It's actually, it's a chemical reaction.
Yeah.
Right. So
yeah, it's just science that hasn't been discovered yet, right? Or science that hasn't been proven yet.
That's all.
Yeah. Yeah. So in the world of that, I went to this woman who speaks to spirit that I go to every month. And it's so interesting. When I'm there, like the things she says, just they resonate. Like, I know that they are truth. But then as soon as I get away, I'm like, that I don't know. It's my parents, I think. My parents start talking in my head, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Are you sure? That doesn't make sense, right? So she said yesterday that that our perfect house is already chosen for us. Yes. And that the ground under it is energetically going to be very nurturing for us. And it just, like, it was like she said, here, let me take this huge backpack off of your back and let's just set it down, right? Like, it was just, I had all this emotion come up and, my eyes welled up and I've started really using that as a guide. Like, if I have an emotional response, like, it is a truth. Even if I can't, back it up with a lick of science, right?
Right.
But that it is a truth and that my knowing is confirming it, right? Like that it's like two magnets that you put close to each other and they just,
Yep.
like there's just a sureness about it in that moment. And so I'm in the practice of trusting that experience, even if I can't necessarily explain it, but trusting it. And so far it's working really well for me. So I was like, okay, great. This new house came on the market. So for our listeners, as you know, I'm looking to move, and we put in an offer on Monday on a house, and we put in a large above asking offer, and it was not the largest by any means. This
is such an in-demand little town, huh?
Well, and this is the market everywhere right now. It's not. I mean,
oh, true.
I just talked to a friend in Charleston. She said her neighbor put their house on the market and got multiple offers in less than 6 hours. I mean, it's crazy. Wow. So, so this new house came on the market, and the house we put the offer in on was like, oh, it's not going to get better than this. But then this new house, I started comparing, and save like a couple little things, everything is in the better column. And it's a little bit more expensive, but not considerably so. It has one less bedroom, but 2 bedrooms are downstairs. So those could both be, office space for Dave and I. I don't know how accessible they are, all that. The house we put the offer in on, I really liked because there was a bedroom right inside the front door. So I could have seen clients there. That was very convenient. But I was really scared of the steps. A lot of the staircases in this town are high rises and short tread. And so they're big steps, but there's not a whole lot of step to step on. And this house, the stairs look like that. When we went up to visit, the house we rented had that. And, especially after a long day, like I was like going up sideways. I felt like a gimpy old, lady, who needed one of those chair elevators,
right?
Like our chair lift or whatever they're called. And so I did have a concern with that offer. And so these stairs have a nice deep tread, and the rise doesn't seem as high. Like the tread is deeper than the rise is high, and just looking at those stairs alone, like there was this relief. And it's got an extra family room, and it's got a nice big yard, and we don't need less than or more than 4 bedrooms necessarily. I wasn't quite sure what we were going to do with that 5th one. So yeah, and it's on this cute little street that has it's a boulevard. It's got trees down the middle, so it's a divided road, and
that's awesome.
A little bit farther from the high school, but it's closer to downtown, and so it just, I second guess a lot. So with the house that came on the market today, I'm looking at the 2 of them, and I'm like, okay, so how much of my liking the first house, the one on the boulevard, how much of that is the way it's staged, or their furniture choices, or their decoration choices, and how much of it is actually authentically a reaction to the house. Right? Because their shit's not going to be in it.
Right.
And so the house that came on the market today, original owners are selling it. So it's got, sorry if this is offensive to anybody, but it's got old people furniture in it, right? Like,
dated.
I mean, it's got really nice furniture, like really
it's
nice.
Dated.
Like, yeah. And the house is a little more dated, like the one on the, I'm trying really hard not to use street names, just
on the G Street. On the G Street.
On the H Street. That's the H Street.
The
one on the H Street, which is the one on the boulevard, it's, it's got a brand new roof and brand new vinyl siding, and like it's move-in ready, and it will be ready. Like maybe we would want to do a kitchen remodel a little bit. The cupboards, I think, might be original, but other than that, like there really isn't anything. We'd want to put in a patio. Sorry, I'm distracted by my little loop of hair. We might want to put in a patio there. Like there is no,
but nothing dramatic.
Whereas this new house, the S house, I'll just use the first letter of the street names. It does have a 2-car garage, whereas the other one has a 1-car. But we're planning on downsizing to just 1 vehicle anyway. So, yeah, does it matter? And it's 4 bedrooms, but all of them are upstairs. So I wouldn't necessarily want to have clients over and say, come on upstairs. Like that to me, I think could make some clients uncomfortable. I think it's a little easier if it's downstairs. Like there's just something about upstairs being bedrooms, right? And downstairs is, what am I looking at?
Oh, 112, 11 on 412.
Oh, okay.
Sorry. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. It was just right there. I didn't mean to interrupt.
Yes, you did. The patio is cracked, like there's just, it's older. It's older in a lot of ways, even though it's a newer house.
Right.
It's like a decade newer, if that. But even as I'm talking to you, like I feel like I should want the house that came on the market today. It's a little bit cheaper. It's closer to the high school. And yeah, I think really what resonates for me is the other one. Like like to me, it's move-in ready. This house, like it is very obviously like the toilet's blue. There's a blue bathroom. There's a peach bathroom. And then there's a half bath with, cream. But like looking at the pictures, the toilet's blue, the sink is blue, the bathtub's blue, in the blue bathroom. It's, yeah.
I'm not settling.
Is that what yeah, that's what I'm hearing.
That's
too.
what I'm hearing is, you would be settling and accommodating because look, here's a couple of things. So closer to the high school. So for 4 years.
Right.
It's
For
only
this
4
house
years.
that we want to be in for 40 years.
Yeah. For 4 years, and one person.
It's closer to the grocery
We'll
store.
be happier.
We could walk to the grocery store. So that is a plus.
Yep. And you could also get bikes.
Yeah.
Right. Because you'll have to carry stuff. So you don't want to, right. But
and the other one's closer
the other
to
one
downtown,
closer.
which
exactly.
I think I'd rather be closer to downtown than closer to the grocery store.
And with it being newer, but all the upgrades are required. So the year of the house actually doesn't really factor into anything because the amount of money that you'll need to spend to actually bring it up to like the, current century.
Right. Right.
And to move in, it doesn't, your body language and everything about it, like the, blue and and it's not like just change the paint.
No.
Right. It's like hard,
And I just visited a former client this morning, and she's doing a house reno, and she's doing a lot of the work herself, and like it was delightful to be with her and in her energy as she spoke about it. She was so excited about it, but that's not me.
Little projects here and there, yes. Upgrades, small upgrades.
Tweaks, I really want to paint this wall. Sure, that might be me. I want to gut this bathroom. Now, no, I want to hire somebody to gut this bathroom, right? Like that's what I see when I look at this house is I see the future money that I would want to put into it. That's what it is. It's $13,000, I said that right. $13,000 less, give or take. But how much is a bathroom renovation? One bathroom is probably $13,000.
Yes, it is.
Not to mention 2.5 bathrooms. Not to mention
and the chaos.
Exactly.
Right?
The disruption of
all
my
that
life.
renovation.
Yes, thank you. It's the disruption of my life more than anything. I think that this is, it's like, yeah. Okay, cool. Thank you for just listening.
There's that verbal processing again.
This is why we work out well together. Yeah. And, it's got a big family room and a living room. And, now the house that came on the market today, it does have some additional extra spaces that were kind of cool. But, I saw a lot of
quality
repairs.
Of life. I just do not hear. Yeah, I don't hear the quality of life in this new house that just came on the market today. The quality of life is mm-mm. Yeah. You want to go start at 0, right? You don't want to start at -20.
Yes.
Where
Yes.
this house that just came on the market today is like -20 right out of the gate.
No,
And that's just a number I pulled out of the air.
no, I
There's
know.
no
I was
significance
just
to
like,
that number.
I don't think it has a fireplace either, which that's something.
Mm.
If I'm moving up north to the cold, I want a fireplace.
Well-
I'd have to look again, and this is not a reason to buy a house, but the house that is definitely speaking to me has upstairs. It's got like a window seat, like a bench upstairs.
Oh, I love those.
Right. Like Isabella and I we were looking at it, we're like, oh, look, it's got a bench by the window. Not a reason to
And
buy
it'll
a
usually
house.
be taken over by some critter.
Exactly. Exactly. And then, my brain's like, well, but a 2-car garage is better than a 1-car garage. But
yeah, so it's a carport. I mean, you could always, put up a carport.
yeah, probably not. There isn't really room, but
But yeah, I mean, there's ways to make that stuff like that work. Like,
yeah, exactly. Like, and
get a
like
shed.
I said, we're moving
She-shed.
there. Right. Like, probably there was no shed on the house today. And I'm assuming that they kept all their lawn equipment and stuff in the house or in the garage. But, there's no door to the backyard from the garage. So, little things like that just didn't really seem convenient. And the new house does, or the other house does, the new house. Yep, no accident in the words that come out of your face,
Nope.
man.
Nope.
Yeah.
Nope.
That's our house.
It's all perfect.
And the seller, I don't know if this matters, the seller is friends with the realtors. Well, the first realtor that I started working with, who is a sibling of the realtor that I'm currently working with, right? So she's friends with the owner, and that just somehow seems helpful. Seems like it couldn't hurt, at least.
Well, I'm sure in a small town like that, there's a lot of people that are friends of friends,
Yeah.
right?
And
it certainly doesn't hurt.
Certainly doesn't hurt. And there's no patio. Like, there isn't a cracked patio that I would want to replace. There is no patio. So I
Yep.
can create my
from
patio
nothing.
however I want it. Exactly.
Yep. Yeah, look, I mean, there's just, I just noticed that word just. You'd be tolerating and accommodating with everything that everything that you said. There's like tolerating and accommodating and even the one that you like, though, even the one that you currently like, you'll either get the bid or you won't.
Mm-hmm.
And there may be something even better. Like, it's almost like the universe is being your realtor.
Oh, I love it.
And it's like getting to know you and
Yeah.
what really speaks to you and like what works for you and what doesn't. Because it didn't know whether or not you wanted, or you could possibly be lit up by, having bathrooms to recreate, like that other lady. She's totally lit up by that whole concept.
Totally lit up. Yep. And
Right?
the bathroom
But
was
now the universe
gorgeous.
is like, oh, I know you now.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. No, that's not. Nope.
Yeah.
You want more of nothing to create from versus, cheaper and like all these. So that's how it's landing for me, is like literally the universe is it's like your realtor and getting to know you right now.
Love it. Yeah. We're dating. This or this.
And
This or
discovery
this.
of each other.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah, and it's right around the corner from the first house we fell in love with there. The one that the people were considering selling it to us, before putting it on the market, that house. It's right around the corner. So, one of the things we loved there were all the kids, all the people walking.
Right.
I don't know that about the house that came on today, right? Like,
Right.
It could be all older people on that street, which is, nope, that has its perks too, for sure. But,
Sure. But then that just
there's,
means in the next, 10, 15 years or so, there's going to be a whole new influx of brand new people
yep,
because, that is the cycle of life,
it is. It is.
and who knows what, right. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's yes, this house feels really great and open for, don't get settled on, you saw that with your daughter,
Mhm.
right? Don't get attached to it.
Yeah.
And let the universe know this feels really good. You're
Yep.
on the right path. We're syncing up. It would be really great if this was the one, and I'm open for you to tell me what one it is.
We are, or I'm planning on writing a letter too, because I've heard from, a friend of mine sold in North Carolina, sold her house, and another friend told me earlier this week, which I didn't realize, that when she sold her house, she actually didn't sell to the highest bidder. She sold to somebody who wrote a letter, and, basically it was a love letter to the house.
Mm-hmm.
And so,
speaking heart to heart,
yep.
intimacy, and yeah.
And that's where I'm grateful. I have a client who's a realtor. So I talked to her about it yesterday, and she said, just make sure you don't mention anything. You don't want the decision to be impacted by anything that's illegal, right? And I was like, illegal? Like, what would I include? But including my race, including my age, right? All of those things because of the Fair Housing Act. And I was like,
Sure.
Oh, never thought about that. So glad I talked to you. So I'm going to have her proofread my letter.
Yeah, who would have known? That would have, yeah.
Yeah.
Huh.
So.
Really great.
Yay. So.
Oh, that's awesome.
I say, nope, maybe not. I think the next time we talk is the day. Yeah. The next time we talk is the day the offers are due for my house. For my current house. So yeah, so I won't know yet when we talk. However, I will know by that night.
You can always jump in with an addendum. You can always put a comment on the post.
Oh, on this. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, that would be awesome. So, and next week I will be broadcasting from the Keys.
Ooh, how exciting.
Our 8th anniversary is next week, and we are going down to Marathon. I've never been. So never even, I've been to Fort Lauderdale, for a course, but you know, I've never even explored the Miami area. So.
Well, look, you have got to eat Cuban food while you're there.
Oh yeah. That's high on my list.
That's yeah.
In fact.
And dancing too.
I'll see if I can convince Dave that, dancing is on
most
the agenda.
Restaurants will, they have. And look, you can dance with somebody else because they're just all about it. They're just all about it.
Well, it's so funny. So for our listeners, my daughter was in the ER Monday night, and this is Thursday. And she's fine. She is, I'm pretty clear she is sorting out what's emotional energy and what's physical, and finding the edges so that she knows when symptoms are emotionally created and when they're actual concerns. Unfortunately, her sorting this out is costing us an arm and a leg and some other body parts, the expensive ones. But Anyway, so Tuesday, I crawled into bed at 5 a.m. Tuesday morning from the ER. And then at 7 o'clock woke up when Connor let the dogs out before school, and then woke up at 9 o'clock and, then Dave woke me up at 11 because he was getting ready to go. Or no, he was showering. And then he woke me up at 11:30 because he was leaving for the dentist. And then about 2 minutes after he left, both dogs decided it was time to go out. And so I finally got up. So, I had a mini series of sleep instead of a full length feature. So Tuesday, in the past, I would have pushed through or something. And I was canceled everything that I, could. And I think I kept one or two things, maybe I canceled everything. But anyway, so I watched an entire season of a rom-com show on Netflix called The Baker and the Beauty. And it's set somewhere, Miami, I guess. Little Havana was, they kept talking about Little Havana and, so there was a whole big Cuban influence and, they owned this Cuban bakery. And so watching that show and you saying you gotta eat Cuban food while you're down there, I was like, oh, of course I just watched that and got this whole cultural, flavor. And so.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
I
yeah.
love exploring.
And the Keys are amazing. And yeah.
It's so funny. I want to be excited about it, but really what I want to do is be here. I don't want to spend any extra money right now, not because of the ER visit, but because of the move, right? I want to be here. I want to go through stuff. And I'm just creating that this is the rest before the big push, right? This is the recharge, the plug-in, and Dave and I get really connected. His primary and secondary and tertiary love languages are all physical touch. Not quite, but pretty close. So being able to just be us as a couple before it gets kind of crazy, I think will be really good for us. But but we both are
sounds beautiful.
A little pulled to, should we cancel? I was like, no, we're going to go. We'll enjoy it.
No. Yeah, there's that balance between, being conservative and being responsible around finances and really having an and of living your life.
Yeah.
You can live into your future and be responsible for your present simultaneously.
And where we're staying has a kitchen. We don't have to eat out every night. We, it'll be the drive down, and we're renting a car. So that's part of the expense that we're worried about, but we're renting a convertible.
Ooh.
So.
Now what we did was we actually flew to Miami because that was a cheap enough flight. And then we rented there at the Miami airport so that we could tool around. But I didn't want to waste the time in the car to travel down there. I wanted as much time as I could down there as possible. So, and Allegiant or even Greenville, your airport that's right there, that might have little jumper flights because, the Keys in Miami, they're, it's like a jumper flight. So might be worth looking into.
Yeah, and then we're just, it'll still be a local rental, I suppose, here. But, yeah, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see. We have 2 nights in St. Augustine on the way back. So that was part of the plan, too. And on the way down, I'm going to meet the woman who does my emotional stress diffusions, who I've been working with her every single week for, 8 months now or something, it's one of those, I can't believe.
And you've never met her.
I can't believe that I've never met her in person. I feel so intimately connected with this woman, and I've never physically met her.
Yeah.
So,
speaking of which, you need to send me her number. And what was the name of that work that you and Isabella did when you had traveled somewhere and you got certified in a
Access
new
bars.
access bars. I think my friend Liza is doing that now as well. She has offered me a free session. And I just messaged her to see if she was available this weekend because I'm going to see my folks on Saturday. I've got a pretty amazing weekend coming up. So tonight I'm actually doing a tasting for my company because I'm actually going to be the lead on the wedding because the boss is going to be away.
Nice.
So I'm doing a tasting tonight. And then tomorrow, I'm cleaning, and then I've got a person coming over to do their hair, and I'm pretty excited about that. And then me and my potential new roommate might be going out to the Whitewater Center after that, for like a Friday night, something. And then Saturday, and it's supposed to be pretty miserable and rainy and whatever, and it's perfect. So Saturday, I'm going to go up and visit my folks. And then while I'm there, I'm going to see if my friend Liza is available to do that, whatever session she has. I think that's what it's called, is Access Bar. And I don't know what's up for Saturday night yet, and I'm open for it. And I could really just use a night to just cozy in. And I think Saturday night, I just got really moved by that. Wait, hold on. What's happening? I think Saturday night's a date with me.
Sounds like it.
Wow. That's interesting how that just popped up. And then Sunday, I've got a barbecue with some girlfriends from a course that I'm in.
Nice.
Sunday afternoon. And then Sunday, that book that I've been telling you, that the fairy doll that Maria shared with me that I've really been wanting to share, and I want to share it with the world. So Josh is going to get me set up in his office as a recording studio because it's actually a recording studio that he's got. And nice. I'm going to record it.
Beautiful.
To just like share it with my friends and family. Like I certainly wouldn't be able to make money on it because it's not my,
Right.
And I could reach out to the author too and say, look, this book really moves me. Here's a recording of it,
And who knows?
That conversation. Who knows what could happen? I'm so moved by it. It just, Yay. And I would love to be able to work out a one-on-one with Isabella in that realm because I think it would really
fantastic.
Make a difference. Yeah. So awesome. I'll text her and reach out and see what she's got going on. Oh, and maybe that could be it. Like maybe I could be reading it to her while I record. So that I'm speaking into a listening.
Yeah.
Versus just speaking out into the world. I could actually be speaking into her listening because she's got a really amazing listening. Your child's pretty incredible.
She is.
Not that you don't know that, but
She is. I am looking forward to her discovering her amazingness so that all of this turmoil that is now perfect, right? That's what teenager is, right? Teenager is sorting out who you are. And so she just has some extra stuff to sort out. Maybe, maybe not.
I need to read this. Like, it's just calling me. Like, it's like, do this.
Well, next week while we're gone, that might actually be perfect for her to have, a couple dates with other people to help her be grounded. So yeah. I think that's a great idea.
That would be wonderful. And work is calling, and we are. Yeah. So I need to check back into my life, and it's always so wonderful to be with you and with everybody here, and thank you for everybody to being here with us.
Love you much, and when we talk next, I will have done a virtual walkthrough of both houses.
Cool.
Lots to tell then. And who knows, maybe another house.
All right. Your
awesome.
Your virtual realtor is on the case.
Exactly. He's very much
I love you.
I hope
but you've got a bigger, higher one.
Oh, yes, exactly. That one too.
The bigger, higher realtor.
Exactly. Yes. Yes. The physical one is just the tool for the bigger, higher one.
Pretty much. Pretty much.
Have a just fun, phenomenal, free, relaxing weekend.
Thank you, my love. You too. Bye.
Bye.